let's go from talking about the history made by the University of Michigan to some more history that's being made really of the football variety, and that we got a new Big 12 and we got a new Big 12 schedule with all the fixings. Now, Texas and Oklahoma, they went bye-bye. They're in the SEC. They're going to get the full dose on that. Lord help me about my Oklahoma Sooners in the SEC. But in the Big 12, it feels like it's wide the hell open. Like, I remember looking at this schedule, and I'm talking to producer Tyler about it. I'm going, Doug, I don't know who's got a sure path to play in the Big 12 title game, but I can't rule anybody out either. And now we're going to get some marquee games on the schedule because our sport has its head coaches as stars, right? One of the reasons that I was really heaping it on about Sherrone Moore, because our head coaches matter. And the first one that I circled was Oklahoma State at Colorado on November 30th, end of the season. Two of the biggest personalities in the sport, in the conference, playing against each other. That'd be Mike Gundy and Deion Sanders. Two men that have never been afraid of any microphone and have never been afraid to tell you what they think about any situation on earth, okay? I can't wait to see the war words between those guys. Mike Gundy, who got up on the days of Big 12 when a penultimate year for Oklahoma, Texas, be like, I don't even know why we let them in our meetings. Why are they here? They left. Why are they allowed in this building? Meanwhile, you got Deion Sanders taking the Zoom onto Undisputed talking about, hey, I expect us to play in the college football playoff this year. It's got 12 teams. I don't understand why we can't be one of those teams. This after going 4-8 and going into this new conference where you're going to be joined by the likes of Arizona, Arizona State, and Utah. I am very curious to see if that game matters toward who's going to play in the conference championship in 2024. Now, Oklahoma State's got every reason to believe they ought to be there. But it's going to be tough for them. Like, their schedule is ridiculous. They, along with Colorado and Arizona State, got a gauntlet run where they're going to get to show everybody what they are about. The worst team on Colorado's schedule is Scott Satterfield's Cincinnati in year 2, right? They got North Dakota State, Colorado State, Nebraska for their non-conference. Then they got to go play in this new Big 12. Looking at Arizona State, same thing is true. Wyoming won 9 games last year. Mississippi State's got Jeff Lebby as its head coach. And Texas State, led by G.J. Kinney, that dude just hired Chad Morris to help him out. Like, they got some things going on for them that they got to sort through, not the least of which is who their starting quarterback is going to be. But remember, Arizona State had Washington on the ropes last year with a depleted roster. Kenny Dillingham might have something might have something to show in this first year in the Big 12. And then, again, I'm looking back at Oklahoma State, and goodness me, South Dakota State, Arkansas, and Tulsa. South Dakota State, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but they kind of run in the FCS right about now, right? Arkansas, Sam Pittman is going to be up against it this year, and you can't afford to take no losses to Oklahoma State. That ain't going to do well in Fayetteville. And then University of Tulsa, we'll see, right? We'll see. I'm curious to see what Kevin Wilson looks like in year 2. Also, my nephew, Owen Ostrowski, is going into an upperclassman year where I expect him to have a breakout year, but we'll see. I'm curious, looking at the schedule, right? Looking at the Friday, Saturday games, looking at Kansas, what they've been able to do in the past. They won 9 games last year. They got UNLV back on the schedule this year. I'm curious about which one of these teams is going to be here at the end and how many of them are teams that we already know about. Oklahoma State, West Virginia, Kansas, Kansas State, Texas Christian. But then, given what Brent Brennan has meant for San Jose State, he's got Noah Fafita coming back. Does Arizona have something that they can show? I mentioned what Arizona State has. We all know what Kyle Willingham is going to have with Cam Rising returning, but I got to point this out. I thought about this, but I'm going to do it anyway. Okay. So, Brett Yormark in the Big 12 did us a favor. Why? Because they got the 7th-year quarterback at Oklahoma State and Alan Bowman matched up against the 7th-year quarterback at Utah in Cam Rising, and they're going to be playing for what I'm calling the Wooderson Award. I get older. They stay the same age. I find that fascinating because both of those guys are players. Like, they can sling it, but also 7th-year quarterbacks. Like, it almost feels like we are taking this just a little too far. I get the jokes, and I understand why we are making the jokes, but it's years, man. And Alan Bowman has since gone from Texas Tech to getting an MBA from Michigan to Oklahoma State. Cam Rising got to take last year off, come back, be welcomed with open arms to be the starting quarterback, or we should say the presumptive starting quarterback for Utah as it embarks on this new age in the Big 12. And also, Utah gets to host BYU this year as a conference foe. This is going to be all over the map when we're talking about who's going to win what. But what we are going to know is the conference champion is going to be good because all these teams are good. What we don't know is, can this conference champion compete for a national championship? That part remains to be seen, especially given what we know the Big 10 and the SEC are going to be. To say nothing of, we got Texas Christian and Stanford opening on August 30th, which means we got the Big 12 versus the ACC. Again, 2024, you a wild boy. I'm already here for it. I'm live and direct with it.
If you like what you've seen, consider subscribing to the #1 college football show on YouTube, the Fox Sports app, or wherever you get your podcast.